Hello, Queens. Welcome back to YGU Yes Girl University, where we say yes to ourselves, yes to love, yes to our peace, and yes to our healing. Before I move forward, I invite you all to subscribe, like, share, and leave me some comments. Leave us some comments so we know how we're doing, or even some ideas as we move forward and come up with some new commenting content. So, hey. In the last video, I had a discussion with my best friend. She came on and we talked about our teen years and how we viewed kind of the dating scene a little bit. I think we touched on that. And I mentioned in that video that by the time I was 18 years old, I had met my husband. Well, during my teen years, doing all the craziness, I will always pray and I will always tell God that, Lord, I don't want to continue this lifestyle until my adulthood, because I felt like if I did, that I would be stuck in that lifestyle. And I knew that that was something that I did not want for myself. So the good Lord blessed me, and he heard my prayers. So about 5 months after my 18th birthday, I met the man that is my husband today, which is going on 24 years next month. So yay! Of course, it hasn't all been great and gravy, but we're still here and it's worth it. So that's all that counts. So I'm going to introduce my husband, Mr. Roger Cotton Jr. He always looks a little sleepy or whatever. That's just his look. So just bear with him.
But I'm wide awake, y'all. So don't.
Yeah, he had a little power nap before we got here. So hopefully it'll be enough to keep him, engaged in conversation.
I'm gonna be okay. I got it.
You here? You present, honey?
I'm present, babe.
Okay, so.
You got me for about another 20 minutes.
Oh, no. It's going to be a little longer than that. So wake up.
All right, I'm ready.
So we're going to jump right in here. So we met about 5 months after my 18th birthday. You were on your way to being 19.
No,
I believe
I just turned 18. I met you a week
before your
birthday.
No, a week before your 19th birthday, because we're a year apart. I had just turned 18.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know why I've been telling everybody that it's been...
Yeah. It's the age thing. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're all getting a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
But a week before your 19th birthday.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you tell how we met. And then I'll just interject some things if I need to.
All right. Well, I can just say that October 14th, exactly a week after my birthday, I was talking to my friends and they was telling me, man, we tired of you being by yourself. We tired of looking at you being by yourself. So we gonna hook you up with this girl that we know. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. Do what you do. So they called her up. I'm sitting on the phone, man. Back then we only had three-way.
We had the party line.
We didn't have that.
You called three-way, then I called three-way, then somebody else called three-way.
Yeah,
we had the party line going.
And so they called. I'm on the phone. I'm listening. They talking.
Wait, I got to jump in real quick. Before they called you, was it before they called you or was it after they called me?
They called me first.
They called you first. Okay.
And then they called you.
Okay.
And then that's when they called me back to put me on three-way.
Okay, so two of his really good friends back in the day, I was acquainted with from school, and they came to a couple of our house parties or whatnot. So they called me on the phone, and we're just talking, and we've had conversations before, and they're like, we're about to hook you up with our guy. And I'm like, really? Like, okay, I don't even care, whatever. So they call you back.
Yeah, so they was like, man, we got somebody we want you to meet or talk to and see if it hit off. I was like, all right, then, it is what it is. Let's see where this go. Little to say, she got to talking, I'm got to listening. I'm like, man, she sound kind of cute. I think I might want to go ahead and see where this go. What's she talking about? So, still make a long story short.
No, tell the long story.
Well,
we're all on the phone.
Yes.
At this point,
yeah.
Right?
So we all talking. It was like, man, when you gonna have the next house party, we gonna make sure that we be there. We gonna be there. And I'm like, shoot, I ain't gonna be there. I'm gonna be there tomorrow. I ain't finna be waiting to no house party. I'm gonna get there and see you soon.
So eventually, they got off the phone and we called each other.
Yeah, and we
directly,
and
we talked on the phone till like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then we agreed to meet at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like,
I was anxious.
Why did I agree to do that? I'm not even. That's not enough time to sleep, to get myself cute or anything. So I'm like, why did I agree to meet this person?
But like
that early in the morning.
But it's like you said, natural beauty has always been the beauty of a woman. Natural.
So okay, real stuff. Whatever. True, but whatever. Still, I'm just now meeting you, so
yeah.
In my head, I'm like, oh man, I gotta put myself together. But then 3 hours, I'm already gonna be looking sleepy, and just. But anyway, so he comes over.
No, I got to back
up. Oh yes,
we got to back up a little bit because you gonna have your little part on definitely every time when I used to say it. And everything, and you just made fun of it so much. Where you been all my life?
Because he was a weirdo.
Yes, I was weird. I was corny.
Still weird, still corny.
But
hasn't changed in a bit.
But you love the weird and corny.
It works.
Yeah.
It got me. I mean, it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And let's explain why I called you weird and corny. Mind you, we're 18 and 19 years old, and we're talking. And he already impressed me a little bit because he didn't come at me like guys would normally come at me. They would just like go for it. And it's like, oh my gosh, here we go. So he's actually having a conversation. We're actually talking about each other. He's asking me about myself. And then he says,
where you been all my life?
And my thought was, all my life? I'm like, we 18. How long you been living?
18 years. That's my whole life. That's what I was saying. My whole life.
How long was you looking? Your whole life?
I ain't gonna say my whole life, but I just know when I started being more interested in ladies, I'm not gonna say girls, ladies, that I don't know. I was starting to look then, but I actually.
And what age was that? So we have a clear picture of what all your life meant.
I'd say maybe 15, anywhere from 13 to where I was at now when I met you. But I always felt that I was going to meet the right person, and I always knew if I met that person, I know that was going to be the one, because I wasn't going to be sitting there messing myself over, which I had did that before. And I got really hurt, so I wasn't finna go through that again. So that's what made me like, okay, well, if I meet this one, it's gonna have to be the right one. And if not, then I'm gonna just let it go.
So okay, now we can jump forward to you come over. He knocks on the door, and I open the door.
I'm smiling, but she didn't notice it.
I didn't notice it.
No, she did not. You did not.
Why didn't I notice it?
Because when you came to the door and you opened the door, as soon as you opened the door and looked, I was like, ooh, she cute. Yeah. Turned around and walked away.
I did not make that sound, and I did not make that face.
No, but you did turn and walk away.
I did walk away. I did not look at him.
Well,
it was rude.
From the way your impression went when you turned around and walked away, it seemed like you did a huh.
Okay, and it was rude.
Yeah.
It was rude. But part of me, I don't know, I didn't want to look at him because in my mind I had a thought and an idea, or I guess I had a type of what I wanted, and I didn't want to be disappointed in his look because I was impressed at how he had approached me on the phone. So I was like, oh my God, I just want this to match. I want it to match. I just want the look to match with the person on the voice. So on the phone. And so I was a little scared to like look and be like, and then be like, but I didn't do that at first because I didn't look at you. But I understand how you could take that because it was rude for me to walk away. And so I didn't have a first impression because I didn't look.
I did.
And what was your first impression?
Your first impression was like, dang, she fine. I like that. And she looked like that girl off of
You like what?
Family Matters. Yeah,
Myra?
yeah, Steve Urkel's
Mm-hmm.
girlfriend. I was like, dang,
And you like
cute.
what?
Huh?
You like what?
I'm like, yeah, she fine. I like that. You know,
Like that? Like what?
I like you. What am I supposed to say?
You supposed to tell me what you liked. As from somebody that just walked away from you.
Okay, okay.
It certainly wasn't my
Well,
manners.
I'm gonna try to keep it PG-13.
Keep it real.
I'm trying to keep it PG-13, but I did like your front side, your back side, and your hips.
Okay, what? I had on a plaid button-down shirt.
You don't know what
baggy jeans.
Hey, fellas can see through stuff when they want to see through it. When they want to. When they want to. Let's just keep that in the facts.
Oh, okay.
A lot of fellas, they may not admit it, but I'm going to admit it right now. I did see through that. And
so
then,
So you had like your X-ray glasses was on that day, huh?
Yeah, I was Superman looking through a
steel wall or something.
Well, as long as it ain't lead, yeah.
So anyway, so we spent the whole day together. And I didn't even think about this part, but I have to say it because it was so messed up.
All three.
Just to backtrack a little, we met on the phone the night before. He came over that very next day. One thing I did not get to do was, when you meet somebody and you kind of excited and geek, you tell your friends, about them. So I didn't get a chance to do that. And I also didn't get a chance to tell my boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
I had a boyfriend at the time. Kind of, a little bit of a situation. So,
and
we done got comfortable. We're watching TV. We're on the couch. I even got my leg thrown across his lap. We just, talking and laughing and just enjoying ourselves. But again, I have not looked at him yet. I have to say that I have not looked at him yet. So I had no clue as to what he looked like. And this is going on like hours. And I'm telling you, believe me, I did not know what he looked like. I was enjoying him for who he was and trying to get this idea of what I felt he should look like out of my head while I was enjoying his company. But while we were relaxing and having such a good time,
number one,
we had a few visitors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because everybody came in, and was it 3 visitors?
3. I remember. Or
exactly 3. It was 3. Or was it 3?
No, it was
okay,
3.
It was 3. So the first person comes in, and our door, we basically had like an open door policy. So they walk.
I take that back. It was 4.
That's what I was going to say. 4. I think it was 4.
It was 4.
So the first person comes in, and it was one of my best friends, and they look, and they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey."
Turned around, walked right out, sat on the porch.
Yeah. So then person number 2 comes in. Unexpected, of course. And they walk in and they like, "Hey." I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" Did the same thing.
We just turned around, went back on
They didn't leave. They're on the front porch. And so now I'm cracking up laughing. I'm like, "Oh my God." So then, was it the third person that
Number 3. Number 3 was
the boyfriend?
The boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Are you sure it was number 3 or was he the last?
3. No, it was number 3.
Okay, so number 3, the boyfriend walks in. And it's the same reaction.
He looked. Didn't even say a word. Just looked at her, looked at me, then turned around, went on the porch.
And so then you could hear them talking at this point.
Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? I don't know who that is. What the hell? How long she been talking to him or whatever? Like that.
Did I tell you? Ended up telling you right then that was my boyfriend.
Was my boyfriend.
Yeah,
and I was like, do I need to leave or what? What did you just got me into?
So bad. Oh, it's so bad.
I was like, okay, you either waited for him to get here to make sure you wanted to see us getting into it or something.
Yeah, like what was going through your head?
I was like, okay, I'm finna get the hell out of here because I don't want to fight nobody over somebody that they already going with. I'm like, I'm just a person that's trying to see, what's up. So I was like, no, I'm finna leave. And the whole time you're like, no, you stay right here.
Yeah, I was like,
just
he
stay
ain't
here. He
gonna do nothing. Like I said, it was just a little situation. It wasn't nothing serious.
Here come number 4.
Yep, number 4 came in.
That was Tweety.
Yeah.
He come in and he did the same thing. He looked at her, looked at me, turned around, went on the porch. Now I'm like, okay, out of 4 people, 2 dudes, 2 girls. I'm like, okay, if I should have left before the second one showed up. So now if I do walk out this door, I got to deal with 2 dudes.
Yep.
I got to deal with 2 dudes. I ain't
But the last one was
girls.
just a friend, was our friend.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
It wasn't.
Yeah, but I didn't know how tight they was while they sitting on the porch talking. They like, hey dog, if he come out the door, we gonna do this.
So you were scared to leave?
No, I wasn't scared to leave.
Why didn't you
That
leave?
wasn't the problem.
Why didn't you leave?
Because I wanted to see what was up with us.
But my boyfriend just walked in the door. Why didn't you leave?
I wasn't worried about him because if he came through the door, that's a different story. But if I went out the door at both of them, then they would have thought that I'm coming at them instead of him coming at me. I could defend myself. I have to defend myself if somebody come at me.
True.
Now, if I'm going out the door and they're like, oh, well, you coming at me, boom, there we go. I'm not.
Okay, well, it didn't go that way.
I had a strategy.
It didn't go that way. So, anyways.
I showed him a strategy.
Everybody left.
Yeah.
And it was still like hours. We was together like all day because you came over like at 10 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And we was together all day. And then you were on a bowling league. And so you asked me, did I want to go bowl to the bowling league with you later? And I agreed to go. And it was so funny because when I still hadn't looked at him, I'm just going to say that. So I'm walking in this bowling alley and we're sitting down with his team and the bowling alley is full of people. And I'm going to be honest, it was so many black people. I was like, black people bowl? Like, I didn't know like that was a thing that, our people did. Excuse me. Until I met him, it's like his whole family were like crazy bowlers, like for real. They bowled for real. They were all on leagues. It was actually kind of pretty cool. So at this point, it's about 7 something at nighttime.
Because it started at 6:30,
so it's about 7, and I finally was like, you know what? He went up to bowl, and I said, okay, this time on the wait when he comes back, I'm just gonna look. So he went up to bowl, and he turned around, and I'm looking, I'm like, okay. And then he sits down. And so then I'm like, okay, I'm about to be a little weird, but I just gotta get a really good look. So then I turned to him and I'm like staring. I'm like, okay, his nose is kind of big. He's got big lips. Look at those ears. I'm just like going over everything in my head.
Pointing out all the
I was like scanning his face like, okay, can I, because, and this is probably going to sound really bad, but it just lets you know how shallow of a person I was at the time. But I was a child, so forgive me or whatever. I was talking to a guy and he was the nicest guy in the world, but I couldn't look at him in his face. He just wasn't very attractive to me. And I felt bad because we would have the best conversations. And so I just, but I grew up and I grew out of it. But, I'm scanning his face and I'm like, okay, he's a little taller than I like. I normally like guys that's my height or just a couple inches taller. So that kind of was like, oh, he's too tall. I'm not going to be able to do that.
And a little darker tone.
No, I liked your tone, the skin. Normally, you were just, those just 2 things. But I was like, oh, okay, well, he's not bad. He's not bad. And he was nice. And he was very, very respectful. I'm telling you, we spent the whole day and he did not make any inappropriate moves, which again impressed me because I'm like that. I'm not used to that. I'm not like, he's really talking to me. He's really engaging in conversation and asking me questions about myself and my life. And he didn't run away in that awkward situation. So I was like, okay, let's just see. So from then on, what? We pretty much were dating at this point. We were together. Pretty much.
Because the way I tell everybody, I met her over the phone, I got over there, and I never left.
True. Every single day that first year we seen each other. Every single day. Not a phone call. Just every day we literally lay eyes on each other. So, but within that first year, no, I'm going to go back to the first 2 weeks.
Oh boy. I already know where you're going.
Yeah. So who said I love you first?
I did.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
you knew how. When he said it, we were sitting in a car outside my house. And
like I said, once you know, and once it's already been put into you to know what you want, how you.
But how did you know it was me to say that to in that amount of time? Because when he said it, I was thrown off because I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know you.
Truthfully though, I can't even say how did I know, because other people I used to talk to or tried to talk to at the time, I never said that to them.
But I'm saying, so was it like a spur of the moment, or had it been something you've been contemplating? But I'm saying you had felt it like that day and you were like, I'm going to say it, or was it just, I don't know.
Yeah,
it just happened.
It just happened. It just came that way. I wasn't.
Just what you was feeling.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute? Yeah, I don't even remember when I first had it. I don't think it was too long after that.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't that long after that.
I'll say probably about a month or so.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You didn't say it right away.
No, because I didn't know if that's what I was feeling, right? Because, again, I'm coming from a place where I learned to look for love in all the wrong places and in different ways. So having somebody tell me that they love me and like really meant it in that amount of time, and I guess a part of it or a lot of it was me not feeling worthy of that type of love, because first I didn't know what it was, and then I was holding my past against myself, like, no, nobody is going to love you based on the things that you've done and, you know, how you've treated yourself. And these are real thoughts at 18 years old, because again, I prayed like, God, I don't want to continue this to my adulthood. I wanted something real. So it's almost like, okay, well, God answered your prayers, but now you don't believe it. So I had a lot going on. And it was a lot of proving that needed to be done before I felt comfortable. And you did it. But I think as we talk, we'll get into more of the tests that came, I guess I will call them, of the tests that came later on in our relationship. So also, wasn't it that night too that you were talking marriage already?
Man, you just putting it all out there.
Yeah, this is YGU. This is where we are. Okay. It's all part of the healing and embracement of my life.
Yeah,
and you're like one of the biggest parts of it and part of my healing and my journey.
And yeah, I did talk about marriage right away.
Wasn't it that night?
It was actually the next day.
I could have sworn it was that night. I think we were just talking about marriage. I don't think we were talking about us necessarily getting married, but we kind of talked about if marriage was something that we wanted to do, you know, like just individually, because we also talked about.
Okay, yeah, we did talk about it that night.
Yeah.
Because I think I was the one that asked you. I said, you ever thought about getting married, or, you know, how do you feel about that? And you wasn't sure if you can give an answer to that because you really wasn't sure at that moment. I just
wasn't sure myself, so I couldn't. Because marriage was never an idea for me, because I think it's because I watched my parents' marriage. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of conversation we had too leading up to marriage was, what did we want marriage to look like? And we had to kind of learn that together.
Yeah.
What we wanted in our marriage, what we didn't want in our marriage. What was the purpose of getting married? Like, we had these real discussions about it. Mm-hmm. Not saying it was an easy road to get to the marriage, because it wasn't. And it's still not an easy thing staying married. But you know, hey, we're here. So,
but if you care,
so then that leads me into the next thing when we talk about marriage. We both came from what we call broken situations.
Right.
where our parents were married at some point, and things happened, and they separated and divorced, and they went on with their lives, however which way. But so did you always know you wanted to get married?
Yeah, I
You
did.
always, even despite of your home life?
Yeah, because I felt that, the same type of, love and caring that they had when they was together, that I can have that too. And I wanted to show it and express it pretty much in the same way.
In the same way?
Well, not to the point of,
Yeah,
separation or anything like that, but just showing that, okay, I appreciate you. I love you regardless of what's going on, and just do whatever I can to please or satisfy my mate,
And I think for me, the idea of marriage, once I started thinking about it, I think my first thought of it was, I want to do better than they did. Like, if I'm going to get married, it's going to be forever. I don't care what happens, because I did want a family and stuff like that. So I think my idea going into marriage, it wasn't the right reasons to get married, but at that time, that was my reasons. And maybe a little bit of fear of being alone. I mean...
And I know you did. I know we had talked about it before, after all that and everything was like, okay, well, when we do get married, if we ever get married, at the time, because I don't think I proposed.
Okay, we're going to, no, don't stay on top, because we're going to get into that too.
All right. Okay. All right. But, where was we?
I don't know. But you just moved into, we're just gonna keep rolling since you already went there. So eventually,
no.
Sure?
Okay, no, we was talking about marriage and everything, and about what did we think about it and all that. So, I guess what was it? A month?
A month of what?
Being,
together.
Yeah.
No, it was around December, so it was about 2 months.
Okay. That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
2 months is better than what you said. I said I love you in 2 weeks. So
okay, well, 2 months in.
I was moving fast.
Well, I mean, you can say that fast, but maybe it wasn't to you because you said you already knew what you wanted. Yeah. You already knew that I was your wife.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too fast for you. You just was going for it.
Yeah, but
okay. So 2 months in, we're sitting at the bowling alley, and somehow we were sitting there talking about the whole marriage thing, and he was like, "Well, would you?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And so he proceeds to go and start telling everybody in the bowling alley that we're engaged, and I'm looking at him like, "What? We are?" Because I don't remember him like, I mean, he didn't have to do the whole get on in one knee or anything. There was no ring or anything. It's just, we're getting married. I'm like, we're getting married? And I guess I kind of just, okay.
You roll with it.
Okay.
Ain't you glad you did?
See what I'm saying? Anyway, so 2 months in, now we are engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's when the fun started. No, that's when the fun started because, yeah, we had spent a lot of time together. We had a lot of conversations. He eventually did come with the ring and everything. And we're still seeing each other every single day. He started a job. He's working. He stayed over one night. And, back in the day, we had a number we call time and temperature. What's the number? Give the number.
234-7121.
Man, it still works. So he's laying next to me, and I called the time and the temperature number to see what time it is so I could wake him up so he wasn't late for work.
I guess I'm a little crazy.
No, he was a lot crazy. At least that's what I thought.
I guess I'm a little crazy.
Because he woke up tripping. He swore I was on the phone with some other dude. And what did you think you heard me say?
Talking about, well, yeah, let me go and get off the phone before he wake up and all
that. It's the time and temperature, lady.
Smooches. I'll talk to you later. Smooches.
Ain't never said smooches a day in my life. Talk about smooches. Come on now. I mean, tripping. Took his ring back. I mean, just the whole nine and left. And so I'm like, what the heck? I didn't say what the heck, by the way. But, what just happened? I'm calling my friend. I'm like, Vanetta, this dude is crazy. He just flipped out. I'm like, nah, that's not going to work for me. And I don't know if I called you first that day later or you called me or...
You called me.
Because I'm like, no, I got to see what's going on because things was going good. And I'm like, what the heck?
I wasn't going to call you back. After I left, I was done. I was like, I ain't finna go call for this because I've been through it once. I ain't finna go through this mess again. Forget that. And,
well, dang. Hey. But you was the one that made the mistake.
Yeah, but hey, in my mind...
In his dreams.
My sleep, I guess it was in my dreams.
Yeah, in his dreams.
It was real. So I just, okay. All right.
And over these years, his dream craziness has been validated many times. Many times where he done dreamt something and swore it was real. And it's like, that did not happen. And I try to catch it every time. Every time I try to catch it on my phone, but I miss it. But anyways, somehow we ended up getting back together and we just picked up where we left off. Mm-hmm. So now, like this, our whole first year is great. It's great.
Yeah.
So then we move into the second year of dating, engagement, I guess. And
we had gotten our apartment by then.
Yeah, we had ended up moving in together. Yeah.
We got our first apartment together.
Yeah. And so within our second year of dating, that's when it's a lot that happened that definitely challenged our relationship and if this is really what we need to be doing because we were young. This is all before we're the age of 20 years old. We were so young, talking about getting married, and neither one of us really even knew what that meant at the time. But within that next, I would say 10 months, within the second year, because that's at the end of the 10 months is when we got married. But within that 10 months, we faced a lot. And I can admit it was a lot to do with me and my insecurities. And that's where we come back with the testing of the relationship. That I guess I was trying to sabotage us to see if you were really real, if you were really, really going to stay. Like all of my ugliness just came out in every ugly way possible.
Yeah, because you used to always tell me too, it's like, what was it?
I would tell you to leave me.
Yeah, leave me.
I would always tell him.
Why would you still want to be with me? Why don't you just leave me and find somebody better
when I tell you, I did everything in anything possible to sabotage this relationship. I did it. Everything. Whatever you want to put under everything, I did it. And I could not understand why this person is still with me. I am awful. I am evil. I had such a low thought of myself. He was such a good guy. He deserves somebody who's going to treat him the absolute best. I mean, I was verbally abusive. I mean, I could bring him to tears. I had brought him to tears to one point to where you didn't cry for years. Yeah. Years. Like I really hurt. Like I cut you so deep, but I was doing it because, again, of my insecurities, of my fears, and I guess trying to test to see is this thing real. But I didn't know in doing that I was scarring you, and we've had to live with those scars for quite some time, and we still get remnants of them. So I would say, if you're in a relationship and it's in an early part and you're talking about getting married, really, I would say seek counseling. Yes. Even before yes. It gets close to the marriage date, seek individual counseling to make sure that you are where you should be as a whole person, because we were always taught marriage is 50 this, 50 that, and you come to, no, it's 100 plus 100 to equal 100. Like, I need to be 100% whole, complete, happy, and healthy. This person needs to be 100% whole and happy in order to come together. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't face stuff. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It just needs to be, I know me. I know why I want to do this. I know every reason why I love you and that I am worthy of you, and vice versa. Like, we didn't know any of that. We didn't have a marriage to look at and model to determine, is this, at this point, we just getting married.
Right.
We're just getting married. No matter what, we set a date, we're getting married. And that's just what's going to happen, however the relationship is. So fast forward to the day before, a few weeks or so, we're like going through, we're going through it. Like, why are we still getting married going through it? Like, why is this even still a talk? Why am I trying on dresses? Why am I getting bridesmaids together? Why are we doing this when we can't even sit down and be civil? Why? It's like, why did we just do it when we were so, I don't know, we were crazy.
Young, crazy.
And in love? Is that it?
For me, it was, yeah.
So through all of my ugliness, you still maintain that is my wife.
Yeah.
Through all of it.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it have?
Because I was so awful.
If I would have felt different about it and would have felt a different way of, okay, she is kind of nuts, she ain't all that and all that stuff like that, I probably would have walked away. I would have. But something kept telling me that that's not her that you said right now. You need to continue and, push forward. So that way you will see the real potential that this person has.
Well, we always say it wasn't nothing but the Lord.
And that's why I always told you, I was like, I'm not going nowhere. I don't care how many times you tell me, except for that one. I think I got driven to the edge to the point that I just said, forget it.
Well, that's while we were married. We're still before we were married. So anyways, no matter what, we go through with the marriage.
Yeah. And
the day after our wedding, I decided it was the day after.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that.
No, the day we got married, we went along with the wedding. It was, we kind of put it together ourselves. We had all the elements in it. I had my dress, had my cake. My dad gave me away. My grandmother was there, which was, both our grandmothers were there actually. Mm-hmm. But it was special for me to have my grandmother there because I was the only one that she got to witness of her grandchildren getting married. So that was real special for me that I have those memories. But the day, it came together and, whatnot. So the next day, I decide, I'm still on this. I don't know why we got to back up to the wedding night.
That's why I was
No, we're not going to. Yeah, you're right.
That's why I was trying to get to.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot. So, mind you, we don't know why we got married. As we always say, we probably shouldn't have gotten married when we did. But then we always say if we didn't get married, we probably never would have got married.
No.
So, the wedding night, and no, we're not going to go into that kind of details or whatever. But I lost it. Like, all of it came out. Like,
oh my God.
My life is over. I'm boo-hooing. I'm crying. My life is over. I don't know why we did this. I just lost it. I everything that I felt before telling me, no, y'all don't need to be doing this. It just, in my emotions, it came out. And it was my real feeling. Like, why did we do? I still couldn't understand why we did it when we weren't even getting along. We just got married. Like, I don't know.
Heck, our own wedding was 2 hours late.
Oh yeah, it was hours late. Because so again, we planned it ourselves. Meaning I planned it myself. But I had everything else kind of in place as best as I could, except for a ride for myself to get to the church. So he's standing there.
I'm at the church. At that time, I was smoking cigarettes. So I done went through a pack and a half of cigarettes, waiting for her. I'm like, okay, she ain't coming. She done left me at the altar. I can't believe this. I said, if she don't show up, I swear I'm not never doing this again. I don't care who, what, or how. I'm not doing this again.
But it was not the case. Obviously, I just didn't figure a ride for myself. Because all that day I was doing all the last minute run around, including taking my bridesmaids to get their hair done, picking them up, getting the flowers. Like, I was doing everything. So by the time I got to myself, it was time to be there. So that is what happened. And his dad ended up coming to get me, I guess.
He did.
Yeah, he did. But I'm like, I don't know how that conversation where it ended up him coming to get me.
I don't even know, because I ain't even talked to you.
Oh, yeah.
It had to be somebody else that talked to you, but it wasn't me.
But I got to the church and we did it. And the day, it was fine. And then the night, I just unloaded it all.
All the boo-hoos.
All the boo-hoos. And then the next day, me still on my, I don't know why we did this kick or whatever, still in my feelings, I decide to come clean with some things that at least I thought he didn't know about. When we were still dating and engaged. And again, like I said, I was still in the, why are we married? Why did you marry me? I'm not who you should be with. You're a good guy. You need to be with somebody else. But here we are now married and I want to come clean. He walks out the house, just walks out and was gone for hours. And I think that's kind of when I first felt the first jolt of, I really, really, really do love this person as my person in a little bit. Because I won't say all the way just yet, because we still went through quite a bit before I got that revelation. But I knew that you were somebody that I needed to at least try to make it work. So I wanted to have this clean slate, even though we should have did that before we got married. But when he left and I couldn't reach him, I felt something like, okay, and you need to get it together, and you need to try. You need to try this and give it your best. And the first year of marriage, I think, was pretty good. It was kind of like the first year of us dating. It was pretty good. Of course, we talked about, family and what did we want to have children. Of course, that was a yes. And we talked about our parents, and, we came in agreement that, if we're able to do that, you take care of our parents, that we would do that. Right. And we've held up that. Definitely have been fulfilling that. So then the second year of marriage comes. Mind you, y'all, we were 20 years old when we got married. We're still so young, with no blueprint, no counseling. We got married with no counseling.
No, we did have counseling.
No, that was not
20 minutes. No, it was after.
No, it was the night before at our rehearsal. Yeah. It was like a 5-minute conversation, and that was it. That's all the counseling we had prior to getting married. Mm-hmm. So here we are, a year after our marriage. We have our first little topper cake and everything, whatever. So the first year was good. So the second year rolls around, and we start hitting those familiar walls again. And I believe it still was my insecurities. And I can say that now because I can see it. It was still my insecurities. Because I can honestly say, from the day I met you to now, you are still the same person. You're still the same person. And sometimes that's a big problem for me. It is. Just being real. But you're still the same person. Like, you haven't wavered on, I'm not going anywhere. I love you. I'm here. You haven't wavered on any of that, despite of anything. So our second year, we hit those same walls, dealing with my insecurities. And so we started having some familiar arguments and this, that, and the other. And you did eventually get just like fed up with it. And he left. He packed up whatever, I don't know what it was in. Your trunk you had.
A little bit of clothes, threw it in that trunk, and I left.
I could not believe it. I was like, oh my God, and he done did it for real. He is gone, girl. He done took his stuff. Mind you, we just bought a house. Oh, we got to backtrack a little bit. But anyways, he ended up leaving. and we were separated for like 3 months. But of course, we got back together and our story continued. But even prior to that, we had made some really, really big decisions. And that's going to be in part 2. We're going to do a part 2 right after this. But yeah, I mean, I say, I always tell people we grew up in this together, because we started.
Really we have, because 18, 19, yeah, we still kids. You still got teen in them numbers. So yeah, we grew up together.
We grew up in this adulting thing together, married, joint together, learning. And as we go. But next month it'll be 24 years.
Yeah. Yep.
26 together. Like, I've been with you more than half of my life.
Yeah, we've been. Yeah, that's crazy.
When you think about that.
Yeah.
More than half my life I've been with one person, and that's a win, because it used to be a time where I don't know if that's anything I would want, to just be married to one person for the rest of my life. Like, I don't know, but, and like I said, we
had a lot of
doubts.
A
lot of up and downs. Probably more downs than up if we really tallied them.
Yeah.
And somehow, and we always say it's by God's grace, because it's Him that brought us together, and it's Him that keeping us together. I know our faith has played a big role in it. We've gone to counseling multiple times. With our spiritual leaders multiple times throughout the years. So, I mean, that has definitely helped us. And just when I say he hasn't changed, I feel like I'm always changing based on different reasons. But I think it's because, like, in this journey, I'm just trying to find myself and be completely healed and be whole, so I can be comfortable with loving me just as I am, and accepting the way that he loves me, because we still have issues with that. And I don't think it's insecurities now. I just think that now I'm in a place where, no, I need to know me. We raised our children. I mean, we're not necessarily empty nesters just yet, but we're to the point to where we don't have the responsibility of, providing everything for our family. Now it's just us. So in this stage in life, and even going into the next stage, we're going to have, I'm going to have more changes, just physical changes, hormonal changes and stuff. So for me at this stage, and really accepting how you love me, because you've loved me the same way all of this time. Like, I can't say that you ever changed in how you love me. It's just, I have my views on things that I think you should do, and when you don't do them, then it's me.
And that's why I was just going to get to, is like, do it need to change, or is it,
I think,
something that's not, well, you kind of said it already, that you wanted to change. Like, you wanted different than what you already have.
No, it's not necessarily different. I just think that as we move into different stages of life, and this journey I'm on of self-love and self-discovery, and really being comfortable with loving myself,
right,
I have to take that pressure off you trying to fill those empty spaces in myself. And I can say a lot of years I did that. I put the responsibility of love solely on you. You need to love me. You need to fill this space. You need to fill that space. You need to patch this hole. And you're not meant to do that. And I'm not meant to do that for you. At least that's what I believe. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm constantly pulling, am I giving in the same way that I'm trying to take? And I always tell myself, I feel like I'm loving you the way you want to be loved. I feel like I give to you. I feel like I give a lot to you. And then that's another thing that we struggle with. I feel like I'm just giving. And you're not reciprocating in the way that I think you should reciprocate. So then that becomes a problem. And it becomes an issue. And so but it's so familiar. We've been doing this.
Yeah.
The same roller coaster ride forever throughout our marriage. But I mean, again, we're here. So we definitely know this is something we're fighting for, but it's just finding that balance with ourself first. And I've told you this recently. Now I can't sit here and say this man is perfect. Nobody is. He definitely has some things that he could work on, or he's things, you know.
I'm still a work in process.
Right.
I know I am, and I know that a lot of things that I know that I can do better. I could do better for myself and be able to maintain and uphold my part far as me understanding me, like your journey, you knowing that you got to uphold what you promise yourself to do. I need to uphold my part.
We just talked about this though, that you know, we've been talking about how you need to go on your own road of self-discovery, because like he's always been the best provider. I've never had to work this whole time, honestly. Blessings. But now that I
promised that when we
you did, but now that we don't have the responsibilities of raising children,
right?
I mean, we still have children at home, but
we ain't gonna never have an empty nest.
But now that kind of that pressure is off of you having to feel this role of I got to provide for all these people, and that's kind of been our thing. You work, I take her home. But now having this free mind space, I would say, now it's time. I always say it's our time, and not just our time together as one, but together as me, an individual, and you, an individual. Self-discovering myself, self-discovering you, and really being comfortable with who we are and finding out who that is. So when we move forward, we can kind of let go of this old baggage, this old stuff that keeps revisiting our marriage.
And I think that's what I'm afraid of.
Self-discovery?
Self-discovery and new changes, because I'm still, I'm still working the same as I was when we was going.
Like I said, you're a very consistent person.
And I know I get comfortable doing what I've been doing because that's what I know. That's the problem.
That's an issue. Not because he's consistent, but it's like, okay, I'm always saying, hey, it's our time. Let's, I'm ready to to bust out.
Right.
And he's still in this comfort zone. And a little fear too.
Yeah. Yeah, because we actually talked about that today. You was like, why don't we just get an RV?
Just big crazy ideas. Let's just do something wild.
Just do something wild and just go for
it. Or work towards doing something wild. I just want to be, and I say that too. We say that, I say it a lot. Let me keep it real. But I say, I just want to start, I want to build something right now. Like, I feel like we've built this foundation of family. We built this foundation of consistency, and we're loyal to each other. And, we've built a lot, but what can we build on top of that? That's me and you. Let's build our legacy. I'm always talking about that. And so when you're in your comfort zone, sometimes I feel it holds us back, but then I can't put that blame on you, and you can't put that blame on me. That's why I say we have these our self-discovery time to where we can put it together and just be on one accord on how we want to move forward, versus me saying, well, I think we need to do this, and you saying, well, I don't, just so we can.
When you say legacy, and you said let's build a legacy or build our legacy, or even if it's a separate legacy, and then we just put them both together.
No, our legacy.
No, I know, and I'm just not. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm not getting the understanding of
what that means.
Yeah.
When I say legacy, first off, I used to think of our children. What do we leave our children? I don't mean just money. I mean, if something happened to us today, would our children be okay? Would they survive? Would they live past that? Like, what more would they do? Would they keep going and adding to what we started? But then now I think about, now we have a grandchild, and it's like, wow, now we're getting into generations of legacy, and how far do we want that to go? Not just money, but for, like, okay, so a lot of the children in our family, in our close knit family, our marriage is the longest marriage in their lives. Our marriage is the only one they see consistently all the time, no matter what we've gone through. So we've already set like this standard.
Right.
And so when I say build a legacy as far as marriage, I'm saying let's not keep doing the back and forth, because we've broken up so many times. Of course, we don't ever leave, but we always like, forget it, it's over. But we don't go anywhere. But to get past that, let's be you, be me, be us, and live the rest of our lives like really happy and free. And let's work towards something together. Let's build a business together. Let's, that's what I mean. Let's just build, all of us, a business, our marriage, our relationships. Let's give our granddaughter and our children, because they've seen it, but let's stay together because we want to be together at this point, not because we feel obligated because we're raising a family or we've been together this long. I've never wanted us to be the couple that, we've been together this long, so we might as well just stay together. Or the couple like, you know what? I done gave you 20 years of my life, and I don't want to be that couple who just falls away.
Right.
So I want this to be my legacy in our marriage, to be something that is very real. It's just love. It's real love, all the beauty and the ugliness. And so when people look back at us, even far after we're gone, they can say, man, no, they fought for that. So we're going to fight. I want to leave a legacy of fighting. Fight for what you want. Fight for your love. Fight it. Because if it's worth holding on to, you got to fight for it. So that's, I think, why we go back and forth a lot with, the discussions that we have. And it's not that we're not in agreement. It's just right now, I think we're kind of in two different places. Again, you're trying to come out of your comfort zone and let go some fears. And me, I'm just ready to just live out loud and crazy. Like, let's just do it. So I think we're trying to get
back in
sync. Yeah. So we can, so that's what we need to do. We need to, come together so we can move forward hand in hand, not just like,
you over here, I'm over here. And we try to come together, but then you move.
We have moments of togetherness, and then it's no, So so that's what I'm saying. Just our legacy of love. I want to leave that. Right. I would love to build a business or something for our children to, be a part of. At this point, they can build it with us. Mm-hmm. We always talk about that. And just, when I'm gone, what will people say about her? I don't want to just be somebody, she was pretty, or she dressed nice, or she could bake cakes good. Like, I feel like I'm so much more than that.
And I kind of think about that too, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to be just considered as the barbecue guy.
No, you wouldn't be that anyway. Not just that. You wouldn't be just that. I mean, I tell you all the time, a lot of people look up to you. Like, you, especially in our family, you're like the guy. You're like the granddad that, he taught us stuff. He did things with us. He took us places. He talked to us. He disciplined us. You're that guy. You're the man. Mm. And sometimes it feels like you don't believe that. Like, why don't you believe that?
Because me personally, I just think I'm just a regular old Joe that just like, hey.
But do you think it's something wrong with that?
No, I don't think it's nothing wrong with it. But, it's just like, I sometimes think like.
You could do more?
I can do more, but.
Or you just doing what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know what I need to do. So how can they admire me or stuff like that to me?
Because what is natural to you is it natural to do, to be a husband, like a faithful husband, to be a dad, like a real dad that's present not only to your kids, but every kid you encounter, to work steadily and actually bring home the check and make sure the bills are paid and food is in the house. You wash dishes, you do laundry, like you cut the grass, you cook. Like that's normal and natural, but that's not for everybody, and everybody don't have that. I didn't have that. You yourself didn't really have that consistently.
Yeah. Well.
So yes, that is very admirable. Like it is. And it's like you need to like accept that. Like that's you. That is your truth. You're the guy. You're the man.
I guess.
And I tell you that all the time. I know I push you. I push you a lot in things that you tell me you want to do, but you haven't done yet. And I always ask you, you know what? If you believe that you have done or you're doing what you want to do, say that. And it is okay. You don't have to have, big dreams everybody doesn't have to have that. My dad's goal was to work, retire, and sit on the couch and be happy. And that is exactly what he did. And he was happy. And he was 94. And he said he had no regrets. And that's okay, because this day and age, we need somebody that's real boots on the ground. That's willing to spend time. That's willing to talk and teach these children something. And that has always been you. That has always been you. So, and if you feel like, man, I've lived my dream, I'm living my dream, I always tell you, if you are, tell me that, so I'm not applying all this pressure. But I feel like we're getting a whole nother level of conversation, because I really want to cry, because I tell him this all the time. Like, I'm his biggest fan. And
yet, it do feel like it got turned a little bit.
But that's okay. That means we have a lot to share, because I always say you don't get to 94 years and not have regrets, but not have a story. You know what I'm saying? And to truly live a life and die exactly how you want it to and happy, you don't make that time for nothing. Right. You don't put the time in that we've put in. 24 years of staying married and actually staying together, good and bad. That's not for nothing. That means a lot. And it means a lot to the people in our lives and people that watch us. It means a lot. So, but we're going to cut it here, and we're going to get into part 2 of this, but we may have to come back with a part 3, or just make it a regular thing. I don't know. We'll just see where it goes, but we're going to cut it here and take a break. But I thank you all for joining. Again, please like, share, subscribe, leave us some comments, and we will see you all later. Have a good one.